It was all good just a week ago.
No crazy going on. Please. Just peace. Just peace.
He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to f around with the United States. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
This is Unmasked America, where we don't react, we review. We don't speculate, we verify. And we don't look away.
Well, the U.S. military has attacked the country of Venezuela. President Donald Trump confirmed it, saying the U.S. military conducted a large-scale operation in the capital city. Video obtained from eyewitnesses show fiery explosions at several military bases around 2 a.m. today. Now, it's unclear if there were any injuries or deaths, but the country says those are still being assessed. Now, the president also confirmed the country's leader, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife were captured and then flown out of the country. The president has not yet said where the two were taken or what condition they are in. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the president and his wife will face a slew of charges, including narco-terrorism. Just minutes ago, President Trump called in to Fox and Friends to discuss the strike. He says it has been in the works for days.
Why did you make the decision to take out Maduro this morning? And what was Maduro doing when our guys came in on him?
So we were going to do this 4 days ago, but the weather was not perfect.
Sounds like he didn't really have a plan.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
Sounds like it worked to me.
Weather has to be perfect. And we had just the perfect weather. We had, very good. A little bit few more clouds than we thought, but it was good. We waited 4 days. We were going to do this 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden it opened up and we said go. And I'll tell you, it was just amazing. And what was he doing? He was in a very highly guarded, like a fortress, actually. He was in a fortress. That we had nobody killed was amazing. I think we had nobody killed, I have to say, because a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. But that we had nobody killed, that we lost no aircraft, everything came back. We got it all back. One of them was hit pretty hard, but a helicopter, but we got it back. But it just was the right time to do it. We had to do it because it's a war. We're losing 300,000 people a year. We don't lose that much in a war, okay, if you look. And we had to do it. But he was in a...
All right, the president will discuss the strike at a news conference that will be held later today at Mar-a-Lago around 10 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to bring that to you live and then give you the very latest developments here and on our website at fox4news.com.
Good plan. Watch this.
So does the Secretary of State, as he's briefing you, does he have answers to these questions? I mean, I suppose there's two layers to this. One, does he have answers? And two, how does he square the circle of the fact that what he has been saying is different than what Trump is saying?
Well, so it's not so much a question of whether he has the answers. No, he doesn't have the answers because he doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. Yep. What's really concerning is that he doesn't have a plan. And this is, of course, what hurt us in Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya. There's no plan for the day after. Now, you could imagine a plan. The Nobel Prize winner who the president completely delegitimized, you could have brought her in. We've tried that before. You could have surrounded her with enough security and said, this is the legitimate president of Venezuela. That may not be a good plan, but it's a plan. What we don't have right now is any plan other than to hope that
Delcy Rodriguez is going to do what Trump tells her to
do magical things that we want her to do, even though we have no ability to protect her. And meanwhile, of course, Donald Trump is threatening her.
So when you get, a classified briefing, I mean, obviously, definitionally, that means there's some things you can and can't share. But when Rubio says, I've talked to her, the implication being, and Trump says she has told us, he said this in the press conference, she's going to do everything we want. Then she comes and basically says, go jump off a bridge.
Right.
Okay. And then people say, well, that's performative. She actually is going to do what they want, but she doesn't want the security services to know it. I mean, does anyone deserve any kind of a credit for any kind of a grand plan like that? Or is that just...
Like anyone else on this planet, Delcy Rodriguez is going to do what she needs to do to stay alive. And she is now surrounded by a lot of Venezuelan men who have their livelihoods wrapped up in the regime of Maduro. Maduro's gone from it.
Yeah.
And you think Delcy Rodriguez is going to say to those men with guns, yeah, I'm doing what Donald Trump and Marco Rubio want me to do. It's not just not a plan. It's sort of insane on the face of it.
Lord have mercy. And I see what the president said about Exxon. Now, me personally, I'm a Chevron man.
We are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland.
Well, Lordy-da. Look at that. America finally doing what it do best, taking over somebody else's country for their own good.
U.S. President Donald Trump declared himself acting president of Venezuela. In a viral post on Truth Social, sparking global shock and political debate.
That's not diplomacy, that's cosplay.
Trump's Truth Social image showed him as both U.S. president and Venezuela's acting leader. Managing Venezuela's oil resources.
And there it is. Not liberation, management.
Appears central to that U.S. strategy. He has outlined plans to export millions of Venezuelan barrels under U.S. oversight.
The United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might.
Big words, big explosions. Ain't nobody asking no question.
And competence in American history.
And don't forget, he don't drink alcohol, and he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
He is the only U.S. president to be impeached twice by the House. Those proceedings happened in 2019 and 2021. Those are facts.
You want to pull impeachment out your ass? What you thinking about? What about Joe Biden? If that his tired ass so tough, why he didn't run again? You knew damn well wasn't nobody voting for Kamala Harris. Naga.
Tonight, a military operation succeeded. But strategy is not measured by what happens today. It is measured by what happens tomorrow and the day after. The administration argues this action prevented greater harm, that it disrupted criminal networks, that it restored leverage. Those claims cannot be dismissed outright. A head of state is charged first with protecting national interests, and decisiveness in moments of crisis can prevent prolonged conflict. But leadership is not judged by action alone. It is judged by foresight and by restraint. The record shows conflicting signals. On one hand, Americans are told the United States will not govern Venezuela. On the other, they are told the United States will run the country until a proper transition occurs. That contradiction matters because it separates a justified intervention from an open-ended commitment. Oil appears repeatedly in the rationale as repair, as reimbursement, as leverage. That does not automatically imply wrongdoing. But it does raise a question every democracy must ask. Was this action taken primarily to stabilize a nation? Or to control its assets? A judge does not rule on intentions alone. A judge rules on outcomes, and the outcome here remains unfinished. If this leads to stability, lawful transition, and withdrawal, history may view this as a difficult but justified decision. If it leads to prolonged control, economic exploitation, or regional escalation, history will judge it far less kindly. At this moment, no verdict can be rendered. Only a warning. Power exercised without a clear endgame rarely remains contained. That is the risk. That is the unresolved question. And that is what remains under review. This is Unmasked America, where we don't react, we review. We don't speculate, we verify. And we don't look away.